Hello, I'm Carl Baker. Welcome to this Inspire for Academicians tutorial on setting a challenge. Before we start, what is a challenge? The challenge is the overall goal that you're trying to achieve. In your case, it's around securing a job. What you then do with the self-coaching cycle, as you'll see later on, is to identify the personal barriers and external frustrations that get in the way of achieving that challenge, overcome those barriers and frustrations to achieve your challenge. The first thing is to set up a challenge before you can actually work on it using the self-coaching cycle. So, open your browser, put in your web address and sign in. F11 to expand the screen. Okay, you can suggest a challenge anytime you want to. Obviously, you would have to do it initially to start working with Inspire on your first challenge. But if you do want to actually work on other challenges, you can set up to 3 challenges to work on at a time. Obviously, that increases the work rate. So certainly to start with, it's advisable to stick to working through just one challenge. And this is how you set it up. First, challenge suggestion, which is this screen here. The first question is, what do you want improved, changed, achieved or embedded? Well, you want to achieve securing a job. So I want to secure a job. It may be something like I want to set up my own business, for instance. So it's what are you looking for in the terms of achieving a job. Now, one other point to mention here, which applies throughout the system, is that you can see the answer box starts with the words I want. Now, what Inspire will do is join what you type into the system, what you write down, with that first few words. So when starting the sentence, start with a lowercase rather than a capital. It doesn't matter if you do start with a capital, but it's always it's nicer to actually see the sentence without a capital in the middle of it. So, something's fairly simple and straightforward. I want to secure a job, I want to set up my own business or whatever. Once you've done that, you then have the challenge connections which you're going to choose from. If you remember on the previous video, we talked about skill connections and behavior connections, and that these were already entered into Inspire when you first got the system. What you're now going to do is you're going to choose from these 2 lists any of the connections here that you particularly want to improve relating to this challenge. Okay, you can choose as many as you want to, but I would suggest that you choose round about 4, certainly more than 2. So it doesn't matter if they're all in the same column or whether you have them a mixture of columns. It really doesn't matter. So literally just choose from either of the columns. We'll choose, I don't know, network development, personal sale. Let's pick something from over here, confidence. And remember, this is very personal to you. So it's worth actually challenging yourself on the things that you would maybe find difficult to even discuss as a weakness with anyone else, including your consultants. So let's pick punctuality. I'm not on time very often. Once you've done that and you've chosen, as I said, round about 4, then if you come up here, there's no green button, which means that you haven't completed this step yet. What there is a forward arrow. So you can always use the red button to discard this and start again tomorrow or whenever. Or if you're part way through, just click the blue arrow and that'll take you to the next page. What the system's now done is it's brought across the I want to secure a job, and it's brought across, in my case, the four connections that I chose. What we're now going to do is convert these challenges to be more specific to me and to in relation to my challenge. So how will each connection benefit from achieving the challenge? Well, I believe that when it comes to confidence, I shall become more confident. I believe that by the time I've worked through the system, helping overcome my barriers and frustrations, one of the things that's important to me is that I become more confident. Punctuality. I will learn to be on time more often. Okay. Let's move the scroll bar down. Network development. Well, I don't like going to networking, so I will be more comfortable with networking or meeting others or whatever. Okay. Oh, with networking. And finally, my last one, personal sale. I will learn to sell me. Okay, once you have done that, and one of the things about Inspire is that once you type something in, you will quite often think, actually, that's not quite what I mean. Do take the time to reflect, go back and change any of the wording that you've put in there, or even completely change it. It's important that you feel comfortable with what you've written and you see that as real and relevant to yourself. Now, on the right hand side here, you'll see that we're going to grade each of these four. How important is each of these to me? Not to someone else, it's only relevant to me. So I shall become more confident. I think that's very. I'm not underconfident, so I'll put that as very. I will learn to be on time more often. Very important. I've been late for a couple of interviews. I will be more comfortable with networking. Very. I will learn to sell me. Very. Okay. If you tick any of them as not very, they will be discarded. This is one of those times when you're asked to reflect and think through the answers you've given. Often we can, if we don't use a system like this, we can often think of something as being important and then discover that actually we've been working on something that really is pretty irrelevant, and vice versa. This is a way of you being challenged to think and consider what you've put down and then make a conscious decision. So some of the things you originally put down, by the time you look here and consider this, you may actually think they're not very important. What the system's then done is pulled them down to this left-hand side. If you had ticked any that weren't very important, they wouldn't appear here. Now it's asking you to choose just two that you want out of these, in my case, out of these four. Often you can come to a point where you think, well, can I have three? And that means that the system is really challenging you. So you need to look at these that you've written and think, which of these are most important to me and that I want? Well, I'll learn to be on time more often. I shall become more confident. Actually, I'll put I will learn to sell me. So take that tick off and put that tick there. Okay, so I should be more confident. I will learn to sell me. Okay. Just to let you know, you've also got the back arrow. So if you wanted to choose any different connections, then you simply click the back arrow and that'll take you back to change any of the ticks or even the challenge itself. Because once you've got into the thinking process and you've got down to this stage, you may actually start to have second thoughts about certain things and want to change them. It's important that you give yourself the time to do that, and allow yourself to do that. Because what you're putting into the system has got to give you a result, and therefore it's got to be extremely personal and relevant to you. Finally, on the left-hand side here in the corner, we've got all the members of your group. And we're going to choose who will be required to give 360 feedback. Okay. Now, we'll choose everyone in your group. You can choose individuals, but as we're working as a group with the Academic Earns Inspire, it's better to pull everyone across, and you do that by using the double arrow here. Once you have done that, click the forward arrow because there's no green button. And here you have a summary of the challenge, the 2 organizational benefits, and who's going to give 360 feedback. And you have 2 questions. Again, just to give you reflection. Always take every question in the system seriously, even when you know what that question is after a while because you've used the system over a period of time. Always ask the question of yourself again. Do you think the benefits that show that this challenge is worth achieving? Do you think the benefits show that this challenge is worth achieving? Well, I look at my benefits. Yes, definitely. Do you believe that achieving this challenge is your responsibility? Well, yes. If I hadn't answered any of these questions yes, then I could always go back and make changes using the back arrow. Once I put that final tick in, then the green button comes up. I can use the red button to discard all of this, throw it all away, start again some other time, or click the green button, which will now send that challenge, because it's known as a challenge suggestion, to your consultant. There is nothing more you can do until your consultant has reviewed your challenge and sent it back to you. So I'm going to stop the video here, and I'm going to come back and show you what happens when you receive the challenge back from your consultant. So I'm going to sign out at this point.